In this episode, I finally have a roller again. Oh yeah. Hey guys, welcome to the show. My name is Grant Tommy. This is my channel, Straight Six Fan. And if this is your first time joining me, I like to focus on relatable, budget-minded, creative builds. Creative builds. A little something I like to call offbeat hot rodding. But welcome back if you're one of my faithful subscribers. Today we are hopefully finally, I don't know, we'll see how today goes. Reuniting that front I-beam axle for good, hopefully. But let's get started. Okay guys, we're back right where we left off last week, and I have again leveled the frame out. I gave it a little bit of a kick backwards, and I did that just because I want to have play for the steering shaft to be able to just come straight through the center hole here, no problem. Now I'm going to need to position this in a manner which there's enough of the steering shaft sticking out the front here, because I've got that little swing arm, so I need it to be able to articulate. That's the wrong word, but I think you know what I mean. So today, in case you're wondering too, I decided not to do the suspension bit. Just didn't have time really to go to the farm and home store nearby. I had a work conference I attended Wednesday through Friday, so just got back Saturday, and the end just didn't go out. But the frame is 11 1/8 out to out. These guys are 12 5/16 inside to inside. So let me think. That's 3/16 inch and 3/16. So we need to get rid of. Let's see here. That would be 3/32 over a half. So about 19-30 seconds out of each side. So I'm going to make some relief cuts, and I'll show you what I have in mind there. Okay, so I came an inch off of the top flange here on the outside, and then 2.5 inches on the back side. And I'm going to make a relief cut both on the outside and on the inside on both of these, in order that I can kind of make a Z shape out of these arms. Okay, so I did 2 relief cuts. It looks like I probably really only needed to do 1, because as I started to try to flatten this guy out, of course it just bent from the weld. So that's kind of disappointing, but you know, oh well. Another thing is, you know, we've just got this mocked up right now. Here we got that steering bit like I talked about, but I'm going to cut right underneath this line. That way I can bend over the top of this piece and fillet weld on top of here, and then on the flat spot down here I can weld to the tube steel as well, so I think just for added strength. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what I was telling you about. You can see I have more surface area now to weld to the tube, well, on 2 faces now when I do it like this. Now I do also want to taper off you know, this top guy, but I need to get the motor on here just to make sure this side isn't gonna create any problems. So that's the next step before I taper it off, just to make sure I don't get too far gone. So yeah. So you can see there is a clearance issue, but it appears if I simply just taper it off, starting with that guy, I should be able to clear this little crankcase nut, as well as the crankcase itself. But anyway, glad I did it. Okay, so we're all good, but it looks like I may want to hold off on a welding really right up close to that tail end. So anyway, it's time now to get it all aligned, all squared up, tack weld it in place, double check myself, do all that stuff, and then man, we might be able to burn it in for good. What do you know? Okay, here we are. Got it all squared up, everything that I could think of. I think I'm going to stick weld this into place. Would love to TIG weld it, but honestly I just didn't clean up enough of the joints. That's what I'm most afraid of. So I'm going to tack weld it first, do the back sides here of these guys, and then see how well that holds, and then go from there. Okay, so it's all welded in. Check that out. It rolls, it rolls. That's awesome. I'm so happy to be here. Now, some of my welds not as good as the others, so I'm not going to show you those. But one other thing I'm going to add in is I'm going to basically essentially make like a panhard bar that I can connect to this side of the frame at a diagonal to this side of the axle. So it'll be a crisscross segment. The reason to do that, obviously my steel plate that are making up my arms are going to be good in the up and down direction. It's going to be hard to bend them that way. And I already stood on this thing. It looks like it's going to hold just fine. But what I'm afraid of is, like, through the forces of turning, that, you know, it might end up racking these things side to side. So this will prevent that because it'll transfer all that energy to the frame and stiffen it that way. So I'm going to get this cut to size and weld it up, and we should be good, and I can start fiddling around with steering. Now, whether or not I do that today, probably not going to happen. Probably be next episode. Just, again, you know, so I can shut things down, clean up, and get this video edited to you guys here on a Sunday. But I'll turn the camera back on when I get this cut out and welded in place. Alright, so panhard bar is welded in, and hopefully when I fire up the camera this time next week, I will have the chassis painted. I decided to go ahead and paint it. Got a lot of things, just this is going to make it look a little nicer, cover it up, but probably won't do any video of that. You guys get it. You know how to rattle key in a frame, so that'll do it for this episode, and until next time, peace out.